is on the comeback trail. Honey was on the verge of quitting Britain after losing to Mark Breland. Now he's back with a vengeance. Duke McKenzie, a former undefeated IBF World Flyweight champion, is also on tonight's bill. He's won 25 of his 27 fights. And cruiserweight Derek Angol, the powerfully built Londoner, is undefeated in 20 fights. He's our third big name on the Sports Channel tonight for international boxing. From the national promotions of Jarvis Astaire, and it takes place here at the Latchmere Leisure Centre, Battersea in London. Hello, a very good evening to you. Our guest is Britain's latest chat show star. It's Big Gary Mason. Good evening to you, Gary.
Big Gary and Richard, no, it's a Gary and Richard show.
From Las Vegas to Latchmere.
Yes.
It's the same for both yourself and me, and Lloyd Honeyghan.
That's what I was about to say, that. Honeyghan's come up and down as well, but Honeyghan's come down in a not so graceful way. But hopefully he can be here tonight and re-establish himself. Any fighter making a comeback, the best place to start is from the bottom. Start from your roots and then you work your way back up again.
A bit different this to what he's used to. Great atmosphere in here tonight, but small hall.
Yes, apparently it's been a sellout, but as Mickey Duff always says, if you said to put 100 people in a place that holds 50, it always looks good, doesn't it?
Well, let's have a little look through events at today's weigh-in. It took place around about lunchtime under the shadow of St Pancras and King's Cross stations at the King's Cross Gymnasium. Got quite a history about the place. It was closed down but reopened about 18 months ago. Kirkland Lang and Breland, who Honeyghan knows plenty about, have trained here. But this is Duke McKenzie, who was first up, tipping the scales at 8 stone 5.5 pounds for his bantamweight bout against Peter Buckley from Birmingham. Commonwealth cruiserweight champion Derek Angol. We've seen him win on the Sports Channel in our first boxing programme from the Grosvenor House. Well, he weighed in at 14 stone and a half pound. His American opponent, Dan Murphy, is 2 inches taller than Angol at 6 feet 5.5 inches, and he had the extra weight too, 14 stone and 3 pounds. The Mexican, Mario Olmedo, is Lloyd Honeyghan's adversary tonight, a former national champion. Olmedo weighed in at 11 stones 3.5 pounds. But what about the man himself? Well, it was sometime later that Honeyghan arrived, looking mean and moody, as is his wont. He didn't have much to say, nothing at all, in fact. Promoter manager Mickey Duff was at least pleased to see him there. And so the former undisputed world welterweight champion to the scales, 11 stone and a half pounds his weight. So our main bill tonight, McKenzie against Buckley, Lloyd Honeyghan. We'll see him around about 9 o'clock, we think, against Mario Olmedo, and a little later Derek Angol against Dan Murphy. Good undercard. Welcome back. We're live here until 10 o'clock tonight. Derek Angol, Duke McKenzie, who we're about to see shortly, and Lloyd Honeyghan, top of our bill this evening. Lloyd's comeback fight, of course. Gary Mason, brief word on the last fight, Barry Messam, Lee Wicks.
It was a sort of an evenly matched contest. It was a fairly friendly fight, not too much aggression shown by either fighter. I thought the decision was a little bit closer than the referee made it, but maybe we're sitting too high up, Richard. We can only see the tops of their heads.
Yes, the ears come to the head, that's right. Yeah. Duke McKenzie then, at bantamweight.
I think he's had one fight at bantamweight. He's still yet to be tested at this weight, but it's hard for somebody like Duke to get fights because most of the bantamweights, they're like sort of Mexicans, and all of them are really tough, and every one of them can fight. And having a manager like Mickey, you have to be careful. Well,
the original opponent was a Mexican, Francisco Gonzalez, who isn't here. Peter Buckley is 21 years old. He last fought, in fact, 3 weeks ago. He took the fight yesterday. What sort of shape is he going to be in?
Well, it all depends. You get some fighters who train, who the opponents, they train every day in the gym and hope to get a fight at short notice. So he should be in fair condition to fight Duke. But the Mexican that should have fought him, he must have was offered a better fight in the bar for more money, so he took that.
He's got quite a good record, in fact. This is fight number 24 for him. He's won 17 of the previous 23. Lost 4, drawn 3. It's not a bad record, is it?
No, that's a very good record. I'm surprised he's taken this fight on such short notice with such a record, because it looks as if he's someone who's got a fair amount of ability. But we'll see when he actually gets in there.
Where's Duke aiming?
Duke's aiming for another world title shot at bantamweight. I don't know who the champion is at that weight, but Duke has a fair way to go because he really has to establish himself at that weight.
Okay, let's go downstairs then and set ourselves for this one. 8 3-minute rounds by Douglas and Jock Brown.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, the big moment. Well, waited now. Duke McKenzie coming into the ring very shortly indeed, about to be introduced to the crowd here inside the Latchmere Leisure Centre. Peter Buckley is already in the ring. A very keen young man. And the MC is Mike Shinfield.
We continue the program, ladies and gentlemen, with an 8 3-minute round contest, a match made at 8 stones 13 pounds. Introducing in this moment, ladies and gentlemen, from Angol Green in Birmingham, Peter Buckley. And from Perth, ladies and gentlemen, the former flyweight champion of the world, Duke McKenzie. Weighing today, Buckley said 8 stones 12 pounds, McKenzie 8 stones 5.5 pounds. The referee for this contest, Mr. Lloyd Honeyghan. Thank you, Mr. Tom Rice.
So there's the referee, Mr. Roy Francis, pulling the boxers into the middle of the ring, and this is going to be a fascinating contest. Duke McKenzie giving away a great deal of weight, and just let's think about their respective records. Duke McKenzie, former IBF flyweight champion of the world, a very impressive record. They lost his title to Dave McCauley 19 months ago. Peter Buckley, on the other hand, has been a professional for only some 15 months, and yet he's managed to put all these fights into his background. So Buckley with a big advantage in weight. Duke McKenzie stepping up to bantam. A fight I think you were looking forward to, Rod.
I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing Duke, who I call the perfect gentleman. I'm looking to see how he shapes up at the newer weight. It might be a couple of pounds deficit to Buckley, but he must feel a hell of a lot stronger than he did at flyweight.
So Peter Buckley, a very committed professional boxer. He fought no fewer than 18 times in 1990, and he has had a very impressive record. Young man from Acox Green in Birmingham, taking this fight only yesterday, answering an SOS by the matchmaker Mickey Duff. Duke McKenzie thought he was going to fight Francisco Gonzalez from Mexico, but it is a very important fight, particularly for McKenzie. McKenzie 5 feet 7 inches tall, 1 inch shorter in fact than Buckley, although that crouch and the style of Buckley would seem to suggest he was a little bit shorter. So the boxers feeling each other out in the opening round. And the temptation here for Peter Buckley to take this fight, according to his manager Nobby Nubbs, was the prospect of a very big scalp if he could use his weight advantage and use the experience he's gained in the past 15 months to make a major impact on the world of British boxing. Well, Buckley, 21 years old, looks very calm indeed in the centre of the ring against his illustrious opponent. No chances being taken in this opening round. Inside the final half minute now.
It's a very quiet start to the first round, and I should imagine that Duke is feeling him out and see what the strength difference is. I shouldn't imagine there'd be a lot. Duke looks in very good physical condition.
Trying to regain confidence, of course, after the setback from Dave McCauley, and then lost the European title fight at bantamweight in September, so he will be very concerned to perform well this evening. And getting some instructions there in the corner from Denny Mancini and Colin Smith. Mickey Duff also, his manager, offering advice to his man. So Peter Buckley with his manager Nobby Nobbs and trainer, and he will be encouraged, no doubt, by the way he coped with the opening round. They seem to have very good temperament for the task.
Very good action there from McKenzie. Through lovely hook to the body and a right uppercut to the chin. It didn't look like that Buckley liked it downstairs, so I should imagine that McKenzie will be looking to work on his body a bit more.
So round two, and Duke McKenzie in the first round through 38 punches, landed with 15, a percentage success rate of 39%. And clearly Peter Buckley felt a number of these, particularly, as Rod Douglas was saying, the ones lower down in the body. So there's confirmation of the punch profile in the opening round. Buckley with 23 punches thrown, only 7 landing. So McKenzie appeared to be in charge in that opening round.
Well, if Buckley's a true professional, a day's notice for a fight shouldn't really affect him. If a true professional trains every single day, he doesn't look like he's got very good stomach definition, so it doesn't look like he's been working his stomach too hard. But Duke looks exceptionally sharp tonight.
Well, let's hope Peter Buckley wasn't exercising his stomach in the wrong way over the festive season.
I think we all have.
Very fit looking Rod Douglas here, but an extremely impressive Duke McKenzie in the ring. He does look increasingly sharp now, McKenzie, as he comes forward. Very few blows coming at the moment from Peter Buckley. He appears to be thinking only of containment at the moment. So only 2 defeats on the McKenzie record. He's won 12 of his 25 fights by knockout, and this may be another. Buckley certainly looking the worse for wear, getting up on the count of 8. Referee Roy Francis checks carefully to see that he's fit to continue.
There's a lovely short left hook that he caught McKenzie with there.
A fine right hand there from McKenzie, and Buckley looks to be in a lot of trouble now. Well, the bell at the end of round 2 would be a welcome sound for Peter Buckley if he can make it throughout the last 20 seconds. Straight left from McKenzie, an excellent lead. And Buckley very happy indeed to hear the bell to end round 2. Manager Nobby Nobbs coming in to have a very close look, I reckon, at his man.
Yes, very good assault then by McKenzie, and Buckley didn't look too happy about the situation.
Well, let's have a look at how this happened. This knockdown in round 2 started with a long left hand and then a short left, close quarters left, and that's what put Buckley down.
I think if McKenzie had a lovely left hook to the back of the jaw, it caught him actually, and he's gone down from it. But I think if he'd had put a bit more venom in his assault after that knockdown, he would have been, you know, in trouble more, or the fight would have been stopped earlier.
Well, Buckley on his feet, ready to start round 3. A very brave young man, because he must sense the tide is against him. Round 3. McKenzie undoubtedly now in command, and Buckley with a major task if he's to change the pattern of this fight. McKenzie looking mean and sharp as he comes forward.
Yes, you can see the concentration on Duke's face as he's coming in. And you can see the worry on Peter Buckley's face as Duke's coming in.
So good use of both hands there from McKenzie coming forward. A straight left followed by a right cross, and Buckley suddenly again looks as though he's under a great deal of pressure. Well, that's what happened in round 2, and a 70% success rate for McKenzie, and there was some quality punching there. So Buckley finding it very difficult indeed to land punches on McKenzie. He only succeeded 6 times in round 2, and the pattern remains the same in the 3rd round.
Duke hasn't really been known to be a banger, but he's punching effectively very hard tonight, and the weight advantage, or the rising weight, must obviously suit him.
Well, it's almost 5 years now since Duke McKenzie beat Charlie Magri to win the European title. Stoppage in the 5th round. Well, McKenzie, I think, growing in confidence, he appears to have formed a view that Buckley can't really hurt him. And that must have concerned him, I think, at the start of this fight, in view of the weight advantage Buckley enjoyed.
Yes, Duke's nulled that advantage straight away. There's no advantage with the weight now.
So blood coming again from Buckley's nose. Fine right hand again from McKenzie. Sharpness of the left jab, though, causing all sorts of problems for Buckley. Still doesn't look the place to be for Peter Buckley at the moment. Duke McKenzie still having things largely his own way. He certainly looks very comfortable indeed at this weight. Looks in excellent condition. And another round which clearly was won by Duke McKenzie. Doing a lot of good sharp work in that round, and Buckley really had no answer.
No, not at all. I mean, Duke's been showing some really good exhibition of boxing and looking tremendously well at this new weight division.
So Duke McKenzie is scarcely breathing, but not breathing heavily at any rate, whereas Peter Buckley has certainly required some attention there in his corner. So here's some of the action which caused so much grief to Peter Buckley.
Yeah. He slipped that punch as he came in there and threw the overhand right. Very good shot.
Still plenty of earnest work being done in the corner there by Denny Mancini on his man Duke McKenzie. So McKenzie comes out to meet Buckley for round 4. Well, the 3rd round statistics, I'm sure, will indicate that McKenzie was completely on top. And that provides a confirmation. Not quite so accurate, McKenzie, in the 3rd round as he was in the 2nd. Still a very good success rate, and once again Buckley having great difficulty landing any telling punches. Is there anything, Rod, that you think Buckley can do to change the pattern of the fight?
Well, I think his heart's not there now anymore. That's my opinion. You know, it doesn't look like he's really enjoying it that much. And Duke just looks really determined and so much stronger.
So it's more than 2 years now since Duke McKenzie won the IBF World title, winning against Rolando Bohol at Wembley with a 11th round stoppage. Things turning sour a little after that for him at the flyweight level, but now rebuilding a career at bantamweight. Does this impress you enough, Rod, to think that McKenzie can go all the way in the bantam ranks?
Duke looks very, very well, and as I was saying, with his opponent can't master him in any division. Duke will be the much better boxer, the much better fighter, who's so much stronger. He can't get on his toes and dance around the ring because he doesn't look like he's got the wind in him to do it. So every division, Duke's just one on top.
So looking crisp and businesslike, Duke McKenzie going about his task in a very impressive fashion. The pattern remains the same. Perhaps will be remaining questions in view of the late arrival of Buckley on the scene for this fight. Was he sharp enough and fit enough? Certainly brave enough. But there's a growing impression now that the end of this fight is just one really good punch from McKenzie away. There's two good punches, a left and a right from McKenzie, and Buckley stands up again. His record certainly indicates that he enjoys the fight game, Peter Buckley, cramming so much experience into a very short career. And down he goes again as the bell sounds at the end of round 4. And Peter Buckley's manager, Nobby Nobbs, comes to the court, have a very close look at his man again. But you wonder just how much more of this he can take.
Well, it doesn't look like much. That was a beautiful short right hand that Duke caught him with at the end of that round. And he was lucky that the bell came in at that time when it came in.
So the bad news for Peter Buckley is that the fight is now just halfway through if it's to go the distance. It really doesn't appear as though he could take another 4 rounds of this kind of onslaught provided here by Duke McKenzie in round 4. Two-handed onslaught there, and ending the round with an excellent short, sharp punch. It was the right hand which did the damage that time.
Lovely right cross, short one. Lovely.
Well, Duke McKenzie certainly relishing this task. Supremely confident as he goes into round 5. We're in the second half of the fight.
Doesn't look like it's going to go much longer, Jock.
Well, in many ways it's remarkable the way Peter Buckley has stood up to this for so long. He certainly took an awful lot of blows in round 4. There are the stats. 21 punches landed. Once again, Buckley only landing 7 times, but none of these inconveniencing Duke McKenzie. That left hook did the damage though once again, and it looks as though Buckley now is a beaten man, getting up at the last minute, but the referee very sensibly, I think, decides that Buckley has had enough. Lloyd Francis taking a very humane approach. It's been a superb performance from Duke McKenzie. A stoppage in round 5. Peter Buckley came in with lots of courage, but realised he'd outclassed early on. And McKenzie takes the acclaim of this very appreciative crowd inside the Latchmere Leisure Centre in Battersea.
Yes, he must be really full of himself, Duke, because his first fight at this weight, he felt strong, he looked strong. He just did everything right. A bit unfair that Buckley came in at a day's notice, but I mean, if he wasn't fit, he wouldn't have taken the fight.
Well, Duke McKenzie has given a very clear message to the British fight fans. Here's the MC, Mike Shinkin.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
The ref did not be in a position to continue. The referee has stopped the contest. The winner, ladies and gentlemen, Duke McKenzie. Gentlemen, your appreciation, please. The young man who took the contest yesterday, Buckley.
Yeah, no real problems for Duke McKenzie. Pete Buckley took the fight yesterday. Great performance from him. Gary Mason, what did you make of all that?
It was a brave performance by Peter Buckley, but you see, obviously he wasn't fit enough or able to take someone like the caliber of Duke McKenzie on such short notice. His record, he came with a very good record. That means he was fairly capable. If he had been prepared for a fight, we may have seen something different, but on short notice he wasn't able to prepare himself properly.
Let's have a look at one of the earlier knockdowns, shall we?
I think the first time Buckley went down, it was more on the back of the neck. Oh, that was the second knockdown. That was the final one.
I think at this stage you got the impression that Buckley didn't really fancy it too much more, did he?
Lost interest by this. Well, not so much lost interest, but he knew that he couldn't win. That just seemed to clip him right on the edge of the chin. But as I said, by that time, anything would have put him down.
No real problems, as we said. Should the Duke have finished it a little earlier than he did?
Well, that's a common fault with guys of that weight. They seem to drag a fight out, and that's why people aren't so enthusiastic about watching them. But it's hard to make a judgment about Duke from that sort of performance, because the guy came in at short notice. Duke did everything asked of him, and the guy was a brave guy, but we would have liked to have seen the guy maybe with at least a week's notice, and then we would have been able to make a proper judgment.
Yeah, you suggested it may have been a mistake when you saw him initially to have taken this bout.
Yes, with a good record, and yes, that's right.
Just kind of a concern, but he felt his way in carefully.
Yes, he did, yeah, because with such a weight advantage at this weight, 5 or 6 pounds is so much of a difference. So Duke, he knew that, and he weighed the guy up in the first round to make sure he didn't have the barrel before he started taking chances.
So McKenzie still makes strides in the bantamweight division. The man we're all here to see tonight is Lloyd Honeyghan, the former welterweight champion of the world, and he's up next after this break. Welcome back. We're live here at the Latchmere Leisure Centre in Battersea, London. Lloyd Honeyghan on the comeback trail as a light middleweight. He fights Mario Olmedo very shortly. Gary Mason, he stated his intention plainly to become a champion of the world again. Is that realistic?
I think in Lloyd's mind it would be, but if you look at the way things are and you look at Lloyd's recent record, it doesn't look realistic, because he's gone up a weight division. He wasn't the biggest welterweight that there is, and fighters are a lot taller now in their weight divisions. And Lloyd's gone up a weight, so the guys are going to be a lot bigger than they were before. And for Lloyd to even get a world title fight, he's going to have to fight someone who's fairly capable, and then I think it's in the balance.
Let's just have a look at the fight records. Honeyghan and Olmedo, who won and lost the Mexican welterweight title in 1988. He's been fighting at light middle ever since. Will that make a difference?
Well, it depends on who he beat to win that title from. If you look at his record, he's only got 4 KOs on it, and that indicates that he doesn't punch that well. And that's a bad sign, because obviously Honeyghan can punch. We don't know whether he's lost his recent fights to him, because depending on what he's done recently, that will give you another indication. If he's been on a winning run, then he's going to come in high in confidence. If he's been on a losing run, then he's just going to come and he's going to try for a little bit and see how it goes.
What about Honeyghan? We saw him in Las Vegas at Cornelius Bozer Edwards Golden Gloves gym. He should have taken a fight of this caliber 6 weeks ago, really.
Yes.
But decided against it. He wasn't in the right shape, he said, and after his experience with Breland, which he put down to being overweight, having to lose too much on the day of the fight, mistrained really, he was careful about making sure this fitted into the schedule, wasn't he?
Well, it's always hard for a fighter who's coming off a defeat like that. He wants everything to be perfect. And if he feels in any way that there might be something wrong, they'll find an excuse not to fight. Honeyghan, I've been told, is back to his old moody self. And like, he's been very irritable. Mickey Duff apparently won't be going up in his corner tonight. Lloyd said to him he doesn't want Mickey in his corner. And Mickey said that Lloyd thought he was going to beg him. Anyway, so but if he's back to his old form, his old character, that means he should be back to his similar fighting ability. But whether he can actually do it anymore, because a bad defeat leaves a mental scar.
He was very badly beaten by Breland, wasn't
Yes, very badly beaten, and then the crowd's reaction and everything afterwards, that does affect him, and that's why he put so much weight on and went to pot the way he did.
Okay, well, settle back and enjoy this one then. Mario Olmedo of Mexico, Lloyd Honeyghan, the former undisputed welterweight champion of the world. Let's go downstairs and join Jock Brown.
Now, we are certainly looking forward to this fight now, Richard, down here. Rod Douglas and I enjoyed that Duke McKenzie fight hugely. Rod, you're saving this moment. Lloyd Honeyghan, can he do it in the comeback?
He's got to do it. A lot of people have been saying that he's fighting again for the money, but when you've been doing a bit of boxing, or when you've done a bit of boxing, it's hard to get it out of your system. You've got to do it, you know, you've got to get back in the ring and prove that you're the best. And especially being as well, he's gone up a weight division as well, he's a lot stronger.
What kind of thoughts will be going through his mind right now in the dressing room, do you think?
Well, he doesn't want to make a mistake, for starters, and he's got to prove to everybody that they don't want to remember him as the last time when he fought. He's got to prove to everybody that, you know, he's got to look good.
Well, he certainly looked very mean and determined at the weigh-in earlier on today. Will there be even more tension than normal for him?
I should imagine so. I mean, he's had a layoff now for over a year or 18 months, something like that. And it must be like having his first fight.
Well, there's a great sense of anticipation here, waiting for the fighters now to come into the ring. So welcome there for Mario Olmedo from Mexico, Lloyd Honeyghan's opponent tonight. So the next fighter, of course, will be Lloyd Honeyghan. So the welcome now for Honeyghan. So Lloyd Honeyghan in the ring, looking very moody and very mean indeed. They'll be announced now by the MC Mike Shinfield.
Gentlemen, please. Ladies and gentlemen, National Promotions present an international light middleweight contest of 10 3-minute rounds. Presenting and introducing in this corner, ladies and gentlemen, from Mexico, Mario Olmedo. Ladies and gentlemen, the former undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Lloyd Honeyghan.
So a great reception for Honeyghan.
After weighing today, Olmedo scaled 11 stones 3.5 pounds, Honeyghan 11 stones 1.5 pounds. The referee for this contest, Mr. Lloyd Francis, the timekeeper, Mr. Tom Rice.
So that welcome would certainly have helped Lloyd Honeyghan, I reckon. Final instructions from the referee, Roy Francis. And there's the statistics governing the fight. Honeyghan fighting at the heaviest ever weight of his career, 11 stone 1.5 pounds, but looking in pretty good condition at the start of round 1. So scheduled for 10 rounds. Mario Olmedo from Mexico was not the original choice as an opponent for Honeyghan for this fight. Carlos Castillo was rejected by the British Boxing Board of Control because he hadn't fought for more than 2 years. Gary Mason was making reference there to recent records. Olmedo has actually lost his last 4 fights. So Honeyghan coming into this fight a very hot favourite. It's not just perhaps enough for him to win this fight. He's got to do so in some style and convince a lot of people that he could be on the comeback trail. Olmedo reacting there to the good effort from Honeyghan going forward. Olmedo trying to persuade Honeyghan that he hadn't been hurt. So Honeyghan anxious to dispel the memories of the 3rd of March last year when he was mauled by Mark Breland in his attempt to win the WBA welterweight title. Intense interest around the ring for this fight. This was the major draw of the evening to see how Honeyghan would appear. Cautious start, Rod, rather than a blitzing one.
Cautious start, but Lloyd's, look, I mean, I'm just looking at his legs and how wide they are apart. And that's just going to show that he's looking for the power shots. He's finding a lot of venom in them punches. But very cautious start. You can cut the atmosphere in here with a knife, so tense.
Tension all around indeed as Honeyghan gets this first round under his belt. Olmedo not offering a great threat in the opening 3 minutes. It's a good right hand there from Honeyghan, and Olmedo covers up again. Good left hand from Honeyghan. That looked very sharp. Well, he means business all right, Lloyd Honeyghan. Determination set in his face. The end of round 1. I don't think he'll be too unhappy about that opening round, Lloyd.
I don't think he'll be too happy. This is a very good opening round for him. And he's walked back to the corner. He looks quite comfortable, quite calm. It's just very good to get that first round out of the way for him.
So no Mickey Duff in the corner. He was banned by Honeyghan. The fighter's manager was invited not to come to the corner. And Denny Mancini and Dean Powell are there. Here's Honeyghan going forward, leading with the left, crossing with the right.
He looks such a different fighter now with his hair grown a bit, but lovely left hook there. Missed with the second one. But you can see the venom in Lloyd's face as he's going in.
So now 30 years old. He has a very impressive professional record, but the fight that he remembers most is clearly the last one as we start round 2, and that was against Breland. So he's starting a career effectively all over again. So the statistics in the first round indicating that Honeyghan was in charge. Success rate and landing punches not quite what he would have wanted, but not a great deal of threat so far being offered by Olmedo.
Yes, Lloyd's got to prove to everybody that he can be world light middleweight champion of the world now. So he's got to perform very well tonight.
Well, he's had all sorts of troubles out of the ring since that Breland fight. He sold his home, sold his car, sold many of his possessions. Suggestions that he really does have to resurrect a career to earn a lot of money again. So the Mexican Olmedo trying to step up the pace a little. But Honeyghan does appear to carry the weight quite convincingly.
Yeah, he looks very well. He looks very well. He was an exceptional hard trainer when he was world champion and when he was a welterweight. I don't suspect that he will train any less now that he's gone up a weight, but he does look very, very well.
Well, he still claims that the major problem against Breland was the wasting he had to do. He slipped and fallen over there. No suggestion of a knockdown. Honeyghan losing his footing there. It was back in September 1986 when he won the world title from Korea, Atlantic City. 6-round victory, and the crowd now getting behind him. Same thing perhaps, that this fight might not last too long, as a cut at the right eye of Olmedo. He'll be aware of the blood trickling down now as Honeyghan takes some encouragement from that. Another stumble there from Honeyghan. He was pushed over rather by Olmedo. Forcing Olmedo now back into his own corner. Crisp left hook there, close quarters. And you can see the confidence surging through Honeyghan once again. This is more like the fighter of old. Olmedo in his tracks. He's reacted well to it though, the Mexican. A very resilient character, because that was a very powerful shot. Honeyghan completely in command in round 2.
Yes, Lloyd put a lovely uppercut there, but I'll be able to see the replay of that in a little while. But the Mexican Olmedo looks very, very durable. I mean, they wouldn't have shipped him all the way over here just to get knocked down on his bum. So, you know, he should be looking to give Lloyd a test. Lloyd's probably happy to get the first round out of the way. The second round's gone past. He's looked a lot stronger and better. So it looks like his confidence is growing a lot more.
Major task there for the Olmedo corner is to stem the flow of blood from the right eye. Here's more action from Honeyghan. And most of it without any effective reply.
Oh, there's a lovely right uppercut from Lloyd Honeyghan. And Amino took it really, really well.
Yes, I reckon Honeyghan may have expected that to halt Olmedo in his tracks, but the Mexican kept coming forward. Honeyghan out of his corner very quickly for the start of round 3. Well, Honeyghan certainly was completely in command again in round 2, and I'm sure the statistics of the second round will prove that. The success record, 40% on the part of both fighters, but you can see the extra punches thrown by Honeyghan. But the really powerful ones came from the former world welterweight champion. Reaching out well with the left hand. A lot of hard work done on the cut. The right eye of Olmedo. It doesn't appear really to be in a kind of position which may bring a premature end to the fight though. More to the side.
Seems to be a little bit more humble of a fighter than he was before, when he used to be really fiery and eager to get the round started and flamboyant, but he seems more humble.
Olmedo's now in trouble. He's going to stop there, and he's a blow which popping up the cut again at the right eye. And again, perhaps sensing that victory is very near indeed. Olmedo appeared to stop there for a second in the corner. He's now gathered himself again to muster some defence to this onslaught from Honeyghan. Well, Olmedo may have weathered that little storm. Certainly appears as though there may be more to come.
He's getting a little bit careless, Lloyd. He's not moving his target around to avoid Olmedo throwing his punches. So he wants to be on the ball and he wants to be sure. Good shots there.
Well, they may have decided that Olmedo can't hurt him. Half a minute left in this round 3, and Olmedo, to his great credit, battling quite well. He was under so much pressure earlier in this round. But, as Rod Douglas was saying, a very durable-looking character, and the referee waving Lloyd Honeyghan to a neutral corner is going to have that right eye checked. Certainly has worsened in round 3. The referee having a very close look at this. Does appear to be a little bit to the side, and the referee is prepared to allow the fight to continue. A clubbing left hand there from Honeyghan. Straight left at the end of the round. And Honeyghan again can be reasonably satisfied with that round. Still in command, and a lot of work to be done there on Olmedo. The referee has already expressed his concern about the damage to the right eye of Olmedo. So the referee marking up his scorecard. I cannot think he's doing other than marking that another Honeyghan round.
Well, maybe Lloyd wants to look to go and stop it for this round now. Otherwise, I can't see the fight going much further with the eye badly damaged as it is. So if he wants to look good, he's got to get in there and finish the fight.
Well, that was a point where Olmedo appeared to be blinded a little by some blood getting into his eye. He stopped for a second. That could have been very costly. There he was, blinded for a second.
Second up, round 4.
So Honeyghan very happy to come out for round 4, and the stool taking a little bit too long to be removed from the corner of Olmedo. Referee Francis being very careful about that. So Olmedo with more problems. He's got to protect that right eye and cope with the onslaught of Honeyghan. So the percentage success rate stepping up from Honeyghan in that round to 54. Olmedo certainly not having a happy time in recent fights. He's lost his last 4, he's lost 8 of the last 13, and now coming forward, getting some encouragement there as he landed well on Honeyghan. Is there some complacency creeping in here, Rod?
Well, like I said, Lloyd is being a little bit reckless and careless.
Well, it wouldn't matter now because the referee has stopped the fight because of that right eye so badly cut. Honeyghan has won in the 4th round. He certainly was always in command, and the brave Mario Olmedo could not continue with the blood seeping from that cut at his right eye. So the referee has stopped the fight, and it certainly was worsening round by round. Honeyghan now looking much more relaxed than he has been. He's looking a lot happier now than he was when he came into the ring, looking so full of tension. Well, that shows the confidence shown again by Honeyghan. That's the Honeyghan of old. And the referee, Mike Shinfield, will clarify the details of Honeyghan's success.
Now, gentlemen, please.
Right.
After 1 minute of round 4, ladies and gentlemen, Olmedo has sustained a cut over the right eye. The referee has stopped the contest. The winner, ladies and gentlemen, Lloyd Honeyghan.
Well, I have to say that's a popular win as far as I'm concerned. I like Lloyd Honeyghan. He's got class and he's got style, and you have to admire the fact that he's been prepared to step back into a British ring after the humiliation against Mark Breland. And he's downstairs in that ring there now, talking with Jock Brown. Let's hear him.
Lloyd, congratulations. Were you happy with that performance?
Yeah, I was very happy because, you know, you see the size of him compared to me. And he was a big fella, big junior middleweight. But he showed people that I can handle junior middleweight. And it gave me a good workout because it's very tricky in the first few rounds, you know. And the Mexican, they're very dodgy. I thought he was going to come across with some right hands and things like that, try to test my chin because from the last fight, you know. I thought he might come out and be a bit more. But he was respectful of my power, you know.
You did look very tense at the start of the fight, Lloyd. Did you feel the pressure?
No, I didn't feel the pressure because I know I could handle it. I mean, the same way this fella been bleeding tonight, it's the same way my sparring partners have been bleeding. So I didn't feel the pressure. I was looking forward to this fight. I mean, I couldn't really sleep properly, you know, because I couldn't wait for tonight to come because I just wanted to erase the bad memory with Mark Breland because I'd done a lot of things that morning of the fight, you know, and also leading up to the fight, I was seeing doctors and things like that. In the morning of the fight, I went in my Rolls Royce and drove up to Hyde Park, and I ran on Hyde Park and Kensington Park the morning of my fight with Breland, and I still couldn't make the weight. And then I came back to my hotel room and I started shadow boxing, still couldn't make the weight. I started skipping, still couldn't make the weight. Leaving, I didn't make the weight till 12 o'clock that day. And then I went to before I leave to go to the weigh-in, I just made the weight. And then after the weigh-in, we usually go to a restaurant and have something to eat, and everyone knows I'm a big eater, you know. I could give George Foreman a competition when it comes down to that. But what happened was, I ordered all this food, and I couldn't eat it. The day I fought Breland, all I had was 2 glasses of water and half a starter. I couldn't eat, my stomach had shrunk so much. So I was really looking forward to tonight. I was really fit, I trained really hard. I was running like 10 miles. I ran myself into the ground till I even hurt my groin, you know. I was training so much. I didn't train properly for 4 weeks up to the fight because I hurt my groin and stuff like that, and I couldn't train properly, you know.
Can you go all the way to new weight, do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go all the way. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be difficult, but nothing is easy in life. And I'm looking forward to the challenge, you know. It's nice to be back, and I miss the people. And British public, they're great, you know. I love them, you know.
Well done tonight, Lloyd. A great comeback. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
Well, that nearly went as long as the fight, didn't it? Well done, Jock. Heard the story about the weight loss against Mark Breland once or twice, but it is good to have Lloyd Honeyghan back. Gary?
Well, that was, I wouldn't call it a faultless performance. I'd call it a good performance for a comeback, obviously with nerves and everything else. But the thing I noticed more than anything else was the fact that the other guy was like physically bigger than Lloyd Honeyghan.
Broader shoulders.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he looked like his bones looked just physically bigger in every way. And that guy wasn't in fully conditioned. So what would happen when Honeyghan meets a guy of that weight with a similar thing? It looks. But obviously, Honeyghan, he did a few things wrong there. But overall, it was a good performance for the stage that we were at.
Let's have a look at one or two of the early incidents. It was stopped eventually on a cut. I think 13, 12 seconds or so. Well, 15 wasn't it before the end of round 3 here?
Uppercut. Honeyghan has always had the repertoire of punches, and he's proven that he's still got them. A lot of his reflexes are still there. And he's still stopping them by cuts because he's had a few like that, hasn't he?
He took 1 or 2 liberties there, didn't he?
Yes. But you see, the funny thing with these Mexicans, they're always very tough. They have these fights every day for nothing in the bar. So when they come out in competition, they can take punches that you can hit them once and they might go. If you hit them twice, they'll get upset because you took a liberty.
Punches from the last round here. Lloyd can see the blood plainly,
yes.
And he can sniff blood. He wants to finish this now.
He missed with a straight right there, which would have caused.
He missed with 1 or 2 uppercuts as well, wasn't he? I mean,
yes.
Plainly the timing wasn't quite right tonight.
No, well, it will take a little bit of time to get back in the groove because that's the first time he's actually been in the ring for a long time, and not being in the ring for so long is going to affect him. Regardless of what he says, it will make a bit of a difference.
He's a good boy, Honeyghan.
Yes, but see, the thing is, Honeyghan's fought, like, regardless of what anybody's fought, it was exciting to watch his comeback and to see what happened. And that's always been the thing with Lloyd Honeyghan. Like him or dislike him, you enjoy watching his fights.
Yeah. Well, we do, that's right. Let's go to move him around in the scene. We need one or two of the characters. Derek Angol, our unbeaten cruiserweight. He comes next after the break. Welcome back to Battersea. We've seen Lloyd Honeyghan successfully start his comeback as a light middle. We've got Derek Angol, our unbeaten cruiserweight. Next, he fights the American Dan Murphy, who's been in the ring with a mate of yours.
Yes, he's actually fought Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis stopped him. He didn't knock him out or anything. It was just one of those sort of so-so sort of fights. But the significant thing about this is that Lennox Lewis has been saying recently in the press that all I've been fighting is cruiserweights. And it's just a coincidence that one of the first fights since there were two cruiserweights fighting, and one of them happens to be Lennox's ex-opponents.
Let's have a look at the weight and height of these two then. Angol, as we said, unbeaten in this division. 14 stone and a half pounds, 6 feet 3 inches tall. 14 stone 3, Murphy. Slight height advantage as well as a pound or two of weight. Gary, is that going to make any difference at all?
The weight at that stage, not that much difference, but the height might make a difference because I don't think Derek's normally towered over most of his opponents at his weight. It's for the first time he's meeting someone who's a lot taller than him, and it'd be interesting to see how he handles it. And this guy Dan Murphy, I don't think he'll be an out-and-out muppet at cruiserweight. Excuse the expression, muppet. But he didn't look.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Someone maybe not so good, like someone absolutely useless. I don't think he'll be like that at cruiserweight because it seems like more his weight division, and he'll have a lot more confidence fighting at this weight division, I think.
You can be quite harsh at times, can't you?
Well...
Let's go and join Rod Douglas and Jock Brown.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, waiting now for Derek Angol to enter the ring with his opponent Dan Murphy of the United States. So the arrival in the ring of Dan Murphy from Omaha, Nebraska, who will be Derek Angol's opponent tonight. Fought recently against Lennox Lewis back in May of 1990. But here comes Derek Angol. So Derek Angol enters the ring. Young man from Camberwell with the unblemished record, 20 fights, 20 victories, and facing a very experienced, resilient opponent tonight in Dan Murphy. So once again, the introductions will be made by the MC Mike Shinfield.
Our gentlemen, please. We continue the program, ladies and gentlemen, with an international cruiserweight contest of 10 3-minute rounds. Presenting and introducing in this corner, ladies and gentlemen, from Omaha, Dan Murphy. And in this corner, ladies and gentlemen, from Gravesend, the cruiserweight champion of the Commonwealth, undefeated, Derek Angol. Weighing today, Murphy scaled 14 stones 3 pounds, Angol 14 stones and half a pound. Referee for this contest, Mr. Richie Davis. Timekeeper, Mr. Ray Rice.
So it's Angol against Murphy, and there's the story of the two fighters. You can see that Angol has 20 out of 20, but Dan Murphy also has a good record, only losing 5 out of 31. And a very powerful looking opponent. He will in fact stand higher than Derek Angol, a couple of inches in height advantage. So the referee, Richard Davis, satisfies himself that all is well, and Angol sets off on contest number 21. Commonwealth champion, ranked number 4 in the world. When Dan Murphy fought Lennox Lewis back in May of last year, he went 6 rounds, but he didn't do an awful lot of positive work against Lewis. Mostly a containing job, and Angol will almost certainly have to force the pace in this fight. So Derek Angol coming into this fight at 14 stones and half a pound. And that's some 5 pounds heavier than he was when he fought Manfred Jasmine in a fight shown on the Sports Channel. So what are your early impressions, Rod, of Derek Angol?
Oh, looking good so far. You know, the other is Murphy is just dancing around trying to keep out of trouble. He hasn't actually thrown an actual punch at Derek yet. Just see how he goes.
Yes, the statistics at the end of this round were very interesting indeed, because Murphy has really stalked around the ring, backpedaling from the Angol onslaught. And Derek Angol trying to pick his punches, starting the fight cautiously. That was a good left hand that time from Murphy, just about the first real punch he's thrown. Angol now 26 years old, managed by Terry Lawless.
Murphy's got to keep moving, because every time he stands still he's getting tagged. So he's got to keep on his toes. But Derek's keeping his composure very well.
Dominating the centre of the ring, Derek Angol, in the opening round. Well, he's shown in his career so far, Derek Angol, that he has boxing ability and punching ability. And very carefully nurtured by Terry Lawless.
Let him go, Murphy. Do it yourself. Let him go. Right.
So Richard Davis having some stern words with Dan Murphy, making sure that he does what he's told. Wild swing there from Murphy, which Angol evaded with ease. Well, all the crisp work coming in the first round from Angol. So a thoroughly satisfactory start for Derek Angol, a young man from Camberwell. Will be very confident, I reckon, after that opening round, Rod.
Yeah, very confident. Although Murphy wasn't throwing anything back, Angol didn't really steam into him and get careless. He took his time, he waited his time, because it's obvious that Murphy not going to be able to dance around like that for the whole of the distance of the fight. So he bided his time.
So Dan Murphy already realises, I think, he has a very tough task ahead. Here's some of the action from the first round. And Murphy thinking only in terms of defence at this stage. So Terry Lawless in the corner with Frank Black. The usual pairing for Derek Angol. His first professional fight was in December 1986 when he stopped Gus Mendes in 3 rounds at Mayfair. Since then he has gone on to fulfill a lot of the promise which he displayed as an amateur. So there's the round 1 statistics. 59% success record for Angol. That's very impressive. And there's Murphy landing only 1 punch. So no real cause for concern so far for Derek Angol.
I think Richie Davis is going to have a hard time telling Murphy to stop holding Angol's arms.
No, Angol stepping up the pace now. Thinking in terms perhaps of an early stoppage. He's won 16 of his 20 fights inside the distance. But he's also been able to show stamina going into the late stages of fights. Won the Commonwealth title against Apollo Sweet, 12-rounder in November 1989. Well, Dan Murphy showing some defensive qualities and then the capacity to offer some wild swings, Rod, as Angol comes in.
Yeah, but he's trying the right thing, but he's telegraphing them. So Angol's, Derek's very easily ducking underneath him and throwing the canters underneath. There were two very good double left hooks to the side of Murphy's body and head.
A little flurry in exchange there from Murphy, but he looks already to be thoroughly frustrated by the crispness and the sharpness of Angol.
He looks very alert, Derek, and very concentrated. There's one thing he mustn't lose during the course of the fight, because Murphy looks, you know, quite a comfortable opponent. But that's a downfall of a fighter when he starts to get relaxed and gets careless.
No sign of that yet from Derek Angol in round 2 of this contest. So still Angol dominating the centre of the ring and taking the fight to Murphy. Dan Murphy has won 25 of his 31 fights, and 15 of those were inside the distance. It's another good round for Angol. Murphy on the receiving end, trying to offer a little show of defiance there as he makes for his corner. But he really has the look at this stage already of a beaten man.
I wouldn't say a beaten man. He looks like a man that's going to take his time and wait until the fight goes on. He's not overpowered, but he's not letting a lot of energy go.
Certainly looks very calm, Dan Murphy, but here's some very good work again by Derek Angol. Left hand by Dan Murphy, perhaps his best shot of the fight so far. So a deep breath there for Dan Murphy. He'll need plenty of that, I reckon, for the third round to come. But for Derek Angol, things do appear to be going happily at the moment. A little damage around Murphy's mouth. Round 3. Well, Derek Angol going about his business in a manner which suggests that he is quite prepared to go a long way in this fight. Good, impressive round that from Angol. 55% success rate on 36 punches. Murphy improving a little with his contribution to the second round.
There you go. Hey! There you go. Right back, folks. Do as you told.
So a couple of very strong men in the ring.
As Murphy's moving around the ring, Derek should be cutting the ring off instead of following parallel angles to him. He's letting the Murphy slip from his grasp when he does get him in a corner.
Murphy there, though, showing a little bit of extra ambition. Trying to retaliate, but Angol stepping up the pace again. Oh, some good work inside here from Angol. Crisp short punches.
Sign of stamina when a fighter throws combination punches, and Derek's always been a good trainer. He's looked like he's plenty of stamina tonight.
Well, an extra 5 pounds from the weight he fought at against Manfred Jasman, the German. Still looks to be in excellent condition. So blood coming from Murphy's nose. Very red about the face. Angol attempting to switch the attack from body to head.
Although Murphy's the heavier and taller, he isn't using any of his advantages. And Derek totally dictating the fight at his leisure.
Murphy is certainly putting his own stamina to the test, the amount of leg work he's having to do to evade these attacks from Angol. A lot of power there from Angol. And a little flurry of retaliation from Murphy coming off the ropes. Good punch there from Murphy, but Angol coming in. Well, Angol throwing the real punches, but Murphy did retaliate well there, and he's been encouraged by a little bit of success there as he was back on the ropes.
Yes, Derek went in for the onslaught there onto the kill and got a little bit lax. And Murphy came back with a couple of good shots of his own and rocked Angol.
Well, that's why there will be some hard talking going on in the corner. Jerry Lawless no doubt reminding Derek Angol that no matter how much he's dominating the fight, he still is facing a potentially dangerous opponent. A man with a lot of power. Well, here's this excellent action on the ropes. Angol trying to use his power there to knock Murphy over, but the American responded well. Landed a couple of good shots coming off the ropes. Certainly appeared to surprise Angol.
Yeah, towards the end of that last round there where Murphy retaliated more than anything else, and Angol got caught.
So Angol couldn't get off his stool quickly enough for the start of round 4. Murphy didn't look quite so enthusiastic. So Angol becoming more and more accurate as the fight goes on. 68% success record, and a lot of punches thrown there by Angol. Cruiserweights, that's a lot of action. And Angol appears to have recovered all his composure now for round 4. Cornering Murphy, trying to find the breakthrough.
So he keeps his concentration while he's in there giving the assault.
Well, Angol trying to use a right uppercut in there. That certainly has worked well for him in the past. He knocked out Andy Strawn with such a punch. And he also nailed the American Eddie Smith with a right uppercut. It certainly is a punch which has ended fights for him in the past. There it goes again from underneath, catching Murphy. So more and more damage being inflicted on the face of Dan Murphy. His face reddening again rapidly. Blood around the nose. A slip there as Angol approached his man. Dan Murphy having a quick look to his corner and nodding some reassurance in that direction.
Very pleased and impressed with the way that Derek's handling this fight, taking it very well.
There you go. There you go. Come on, do as you're told. Right.
Well, the referee not happy. Richard Davis having a word with the fighters. They were concerned about holding by Murphy. Oh, that's a great right hand from underneath again. And that was crisply delivered, and Murphy took it well.
Murphy looks like one of his eyes are closing up.
Come on. Right. Right back, both. What you're told.
So inside the closing half minute of round 4, and a great effort there from Murphy. And Angol also trying to respond. Well, just every so often the big American offers something, but the volume of punching is still coming from Angol. And the bell, once again, a welcome sound for the American. Still can't be discounted when they get to close quarters, but he really is taking some heavy punishment.
Yes, I would agree with that. Jock. He took one nasty uppercut there from Derek, which is one of his specialities, and he took it well, and he stood up to it.
So a lot of blood coming from the mouth of Dan Murphy. Angol untroubled and unmarked, and appears to be totally in command. But that right uppercut really has caused some problems for the American.
Lovely shot that was, and he's jolted his head right back. Unfortunate that Derek missed with the left hook afterwards. I'm sure it would have been all over if that were connected.
Well, that was the punch which knocked over Andy Strawn.
Seconds out.
In the 8th round of their fight in March of last year in Kensington. So round 5, fight scheduled for 10. And everything at the moment going Derek Angol's way. But he has had some timely reminders to be careful. So there are the statistics of the round 4 with 56% success rate for Angol this time, but Murphy landing only 4 times. Referee Richard Davis not happy there with Angol, not stepping back but delivering a straight left as the fighters broke. Difficult, awkward customer, yes. Dan Murphy.
Yeah, he's a stand-up fighter anyway, and I think Derek's making it hard for himself. Well, Derek's best punch that he has is his left jab, and isn't using it to the best effect.
There's the damage inflicted on the Murphy nose. Angol looking very convincing now, very strong and assured as he goes on the attack again. Good left lead that time from Angol. That set up Murphy. A little bit of desperation appears to be creeping into Murphy, and referee Richard Davis almost took a right hand there from Angol. Too close to the action. On the ropes. Will do well to survive this. Another desperate flurry from Murphy. Trying to find a way to halt the relentless attack from Angol. And the referee very unhappy there about the fighters clinging to each other. There's Murphy crouched, taking that right hand uppercut again.
Derek's trying very hard to finish the fight, but he can't get a clean shot in. His opponent covering up very, very well.
Well, he still looks potentially vulnerable to that uppercut. Murphy may not have done his homework too impeccably to realise the menace in that right hand of Angol. So the closing seconds now of the 4th round, and Murphy appears once again to have survived a very awkward spell in the middle of the round. So the bell again, a welcome sound for Murphy as he makes for the corner, but Derek Angol may have felt that he was almost there in that round. The 5th round over, we're at the halfway stage in the fight, and Angol still dominating all the way through.
Yeah, I'd agree with Jock. Derek dominated that round, and I would have given that a very good round for Derek, but he lapsed a little bit of concentration midway through then, but came out on top again towards the end.
So the work being done in the corner by Terry Lullis, and here's another look at the ammunition delivered here by Derek Angol, trying to find one clean shot to end the fight. He did appear to find one there with that right uppercut, but Murphy took it and kept on coming. Murphy very slow coming off the stool for the second half of the fight now. We're in round 6.
He does look worn, doesn't he, Jock?
He certainly appears to have been in a fight already, Rod, the American. Well, Murphy throwing a lot more punches in that round. 30 against Angol's 35, although the success rate clearly very different. And Murphy trying to show a little more confidence. He's on his toes now for just about the first time in the fight. Bit of psychology perhaps for Angol. It doesn't appear to have made much of an impact though on the Commonwealth champion.
He's a very cagey fighter, is Murphy, where he looks like he's carrying away from Angol's punches, and then from retaliation, what it looks like, he lets some flows go.
Well, Angol has only been taking the distance 4 times in his career. And the list of men who took him that distance, including Jamie Howe, Apollo Sweet, Edmund Blackstock and John Joe Green from Ireland. Well, Angol may well have welcomed the workout here against Murphy. I'm sure he will be looking to finish this with a bit of style before the end. Murphy looking very tired indeed, leaning there on Angol.
Yeah, Derek's got to watch out for them wild swings from Murphy, because he could quite easily get tagged with one of them.
It certainly looks as though Murphy is depending on catching Angol with one really good punch, and Angol didn't like that right hand too much. But it will take something special to turn the fight Murphy's way. Still showing a great deal of strength. Still proving to be a dangerous opponent for Angol as he comes forward.
Right. There you go. Come on.
So half a minute left, less than that now in the 6th. Fist block again from Angol. And Murphy trying to persuade Angol that it caused him little inconvenience. Oh, a little short defiance again from the American. Well, he certainly is offering something to the crowd. Certainly hasn't troubled Angol too often, but showing he still has plenty of stamina.
Yes, Angol boxed well in that round, and looking well all the time, looking strong. But at the same time, Murphy is a strong opponent, and you can tell by the power of his punches that he's been swinging with, and fortunately he's missed Angol, but dangerous opponent. He looks like he's got a few rounds left in him still, so then that Angol must be very cautious.
Well, very interesting fight indeed. The way it's developing, Angol still finding it difficult to land that decisive shot. Good left-hand work there by Angol. So Angol now going into the 7th round. He's only been this distance on 4 previous occasions. So he had to go past round 6. These 4 occasions, there are the figures for round 6. Angol still throwing plenty of punches. A bit of gamesmanship there from Murphy. Perhaps trying to entice Angol to do something rash and leave an opening for the American to land the big punch that he certainly requires if he's to win this fight. So Angol has gone past the 6th round against Jamie Howe to win in points over 8. He had a 8th round knockout against Andy Strawn. Went the distance against Apollo Sweet to win the Commonwealth title, and then went past the 6th also against Manfred Jasman.
Derek's looking a lot fresher in this round as he's come out, and Murphy's looking a bit worn. A lot more sharper, more accurate for this round.
Murphy finding it increasingly difficult to set himself, even for those swings which he's offered, with a little bit of occasional success. And clearly a very strong fighter indeed, Dan Murphy. Dropped to his heels again by a left and a right from Angol. Clubbing right hand from Derek Angol in the American's corner. That's what he's got to protect against Angol. That sudden flurry from defensive position by the American. The referee concerned there about heads clashing. Murphy again covering up extremely well, taking a lot of shots there in his gloves. The left hand is getting through though. The left jab from Angol. Half a minute for Murphy to survive round 7. And it is a case of survival, there's no doubt about that.
Yes, I can't think Murphy's got very much left in him at present.
Suddenly looks extremely tired. So the bell to end round 7, and it's a very, very tired Dan Murphy who staggers onto his stool, and he certainly does appear to be in some kind of distress now. And I wonder how much longer he can survive against this performance from Derek Angol.
Derek's looking very well now. Looks fresh, looks well.
So adding to his experience, Derek Angol doesn't appear to be in any serious danger of losing the fight now, with Dan Murphy looking so tired that a big punch looks less and less likely. Pinned in the corner there, Murphy. Covering up for all he's worth as Angol tries to find a way through. So Murphy comes out for the 8th. So Angol's career being very carefully set up by Terry Lawless. A lot of punches in that round. 49 punches thrown by Angol. 28 landing. That's a very good return for effort. So the long left lead there from Angol. He has Murphy in the corner again.
Very good boxing there from Derek there. Never stayed in too close a range to be tagged by any shots from Murphy. He went in, threw a jab, come out straight back out again. He's thinking now. You can see that Derek is really thinking about what he's doing now. He's not going to get careless.
Yes, he's not getting carried away. He's still trying to pick his punches carefully. Now this is where Murphy in the past would spring out with a few swings of his own, but he doesn't appear to have much left to do that. So Angol sticking to the pattern. Leading with that left jab, keeping the American on his heels, but not getting overexcited as he perhaps senses the kill now. A measured performance this from Derek Angol in round 8. Nothing rash, nothing hurried.
The whole pace of the fight has turned down a little bit now, although Derek's got the fight well in hands, well in control, and just looking for an opening, but he can't get a clean shot on Murphy. Covering up very well.
Murphy beginning to offer some attacks of his own now. The last half minute of round 8, perhaps timing that to make a big effort. Well, that might give an opening for Angol. Putting a lot of power into these punches, trying to break through the Murphy defence, or to power his way through. So another piece of determined defending by Murphy balks the efforts of Derek Angol. Well, 2 rounds left in the fight, and Angol finding it extremely difficult to get a clean-cut finishing punch on Murphy. Just an odd sign there in round 8, perhaps, Rod, that Angol was beginning to feel the pace himself. He's put a great deal of work into this fight.
Well, I think he might have decided that he's not going to be able to get a clean shot on Murphy, and it might be pointless wasting or tiring himself out trying to finish the job off. So maybe he might be content with a points victory here.
Well, if you look at this replay of the action in round 8, I can tell you that referee Richard Davis had a very close look at Dan Murphy and had a word with him in his corner to see how he felt about continuing.
Second go. Round 9.
So out comes Angol, an attempt to finish it in round 9. Well, the referee, I don't think, will need a great deal of encouragement to stop the fight. And a lot of work again by Derek Angol in round 8. Not so much for Murphy, but too busy covering up and defending against this onslaught.
Derek keeping the motions going and throwing the punches that needs to be thrown instead of being lazy, but he's always doing something. So that's good for Derek, in good physical condition. You can see him stalking Murphy, see if he can find a way through, but covers up well.
Angol hasn't made quite so many attempts to reach Murphy around the body. He's concentrated his efforts in recent rounds to the head. Well, he did have some success early on, lower down against the American.
Good 2 shots there from Angol, connected very well.
Murphy didn't like that one bit. He struggled to cope with those 2 fine shots. And the right hand uppercut. Referee looking very carefully at Dan Murphy.
That's the Angol uppercut, that's what I call it.
So a cut now appearing below the left eye of Murphy. Swelling about both eyes. He's taken a great deal of punishment. And the referee decides that is enough. Dan Murphy is clearly unhappy about that, but there was no way in which he could come back and win this fight. And the referee decides that there is no point in continuing. Murphy is still protesting all around the ring, but the referee is quite clear in his decision. Angol is the winner, Murphy is the thoroughly frustrated loser, who appear to have been determined to go the full distance.
I agree with you there, John. There's no way that he was going to turn the way that the fight was going around, and it was pointless in taking further punishment.
So Angol the winner in the 9th round. Here's the MC, Mike Shinfield.
After 2 minutes and 8 seconds of round 9, ladies and gentlemen, with Murphy in no condition to continue, the referee has stopped the contest. The winner, ladies and gentlemen, Derek Angol.
Well, he made a lot of fuss there, Gary, Dan Murphy, about the decision, but I don't think he fancied too much more, did he?
No, I didn't think so. He looks as if he was looking for a way out from a few rounds before. But the only reason why the referee didn't stop the fight earlier was the fact that every so often he threw a flurry in return.
We all came to see him. I mean, congratulations to Derek on that, and Duke McKenzie for his win earlier, but we all came tonight to see Lloyd Honeyghan. Let's just have a quick look at the total punch profile. His fight against Mario Olmedo won after 4 rounds, or it was stopped in the 4th. There we are. Honeyghan 44% from 124 thrown, 54 landed. Good performance.
Yes, a fairly good comeback performance. There were faults there, but there was also a lot of good things there.
Well, many congratulations to Lloyd. It's always nice to have someone of his calibre and class around in the fight game. Hope you've enjoyed this one. See you next time out. From all of us here, bye-bye.